Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, I should say. My name is Jonathan St. Martin, and I'm a librarian at the Freedman Branch Library. Here today with Miss Philicia Saunders. Miss Saunders is an actress best known for her role as Tabala Zoe in Star Wars: The Force Awakens and The Rise of Skywalker. She is the first African American female human character to actually have a line in any of the movies. She earned degrees from both Princeton and UCLA and has attended the British American Drama Academy in Oxford, with an emphasis on classical acting and Shakespeare. If you're interested in finding her in the movies, she can be found approximately 1 hour and 50 minutes into The Force Awakens, and she has the line,
"Admiral, their weapon will fire in 2 minutes.
Wonderful. And then if you want to find her in The Rise of Skywalker, she's towards the end in the celebration scene when everyone is celebrating their victory. Ms. Saunders, welcome to Inside the Galactic Studio and Star Wars Reads Day. Now, before we get into our interview, Philicia would like to read to us Chewie and the Porgs by Kevin Shinkty.
Yep.
All right. So, Philicia, go ahead and take it away.
Great. Thank you so much for having me today. And I'm so excited to read this to everyone today. Okay. Chewie and the Porgs. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, there was a planet so distant and so mysterious, it was said to have been hidden among the stars. The planet is called Octo. And on this planet stands the very first Jedi temple. Not many know of its existence, mostly just the caretakers of the island, and now you, of course. The only other being with knowledge of this mystical place is the man who crossed an entire galaxy to find it. Luke Skywalker, last of the Jedi Knights. But this is not his story. This is the story of the Porgs, sweet and lovable creatures that inhabit Octo Island. The Porgs have lived in peace and tranquility on the island for many years. Their sanctuary has remained undisturbed by anyone. Until now. Vroom! The Millennium Falcon has arrived. One of the beings who exits the ship is covered in fur and unlike anything the Porgs have ever seen. The young girl tells the furry one to stay with the ship. The Porgs overhear her refer to him as Chewie. They wonder if this means he is her food. They hope so, for they are very hungry and he appears to be bite-sized. This will take some investigating. Back inside the Millennium Falcon, the furry one, Chewbacca the Wookiee, and R2-D2, a small droid, are preparing the ship for the girl's return. Suddenly, the Falcon's scanners detect nearby intruders. Whoop, 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 whoop. Could it be Minox? Probe droids? Chewie goes to check out the situation. Lucky for the Porgs, their camouflaging abilities serve them well. But Chewie isn't fooled for long, and he definitely isn't bite-sized. It's my Wookiee impression. One Porg isn't afraid of a Wookiee's roar, but he is afraid of a Wookiee's grumbling stomach. Wookiee fun fact number 17. Wookiees are always hungry, but poor Chewbacca has nothing to eat. The next day, Chewbacca sets out to find some food. Chewie is an excellent shot, but certain uninvited guests make concentrating difficult. He tries to search for berries, but all he finds are Octonian grubs. Wookiee fun fact number 35. Turns out Wookiees hate Octonian grubs. Chewie thinks back to the time when Ewoks devised a trap to capture him and his friends. He decides to build a trap of his own. This is not what Chewie intended. Next, Chewie tries his hand at fishing. He decides to use the disgusting grubs as bait, but doesn't get a nibble. Perhaps he should use more bait. Never mind. Better luck next time, Chewbacca. Chewie then decides to ask the locals for help, but he learns that fishing season is over and all the fish are gone. While Chewie is away, the Porgs decide to do a little exploring of their own. The Porgs have never seen so many flashing lights and shiny buttons before. Cheep, cheep, cheep. Still as hungry as ever, Chewie returns to the ship, only to find a Porg party. Ah, cheep, 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 cheep. Chewbacca has had enough. There must be food somewhere on the ship. Chewie desperately searches all the compartments until success. Chewie looks around to make sure the coast is clear. And when it is, he gets ready to eat. Wookiee fun fact number 77. Nothing tastes better than warmly toasted blue puff cubes. Uh-oh, Chewbacca is not going to be happy about this. Poor Chewie. He just can't take it anymore. Then Chewie notices something. One of the Millennium Falcon's landing struts came down on the Porg's nest, crushing the food they stored for winter. No wonder they've been bothering him so much. Chewie gets an idea. He uses the Millennium Falcon's sensors to scan the entire island. And when he finds what he was looking for, he calls to the Porgs to follow him. He leads them to a hidden lake that still contains fish. Chewie feels so much better now that he understands the situation. After all, Wookiee fun fact number 1, Wookiees have hearts of gold. Chewie and the Porgs enjoy their time together. They laugh, play, and feast. Chewie even learns a new way to play holochess. But all journeys must come to an end. New missions will take us to faraway places and teach us new things. And on this mission, Chewie learned a very valuable lesson. There are some beings in this galaxy who arrive with questions and leave with answers. And there are those who arrive with nothing and leave with new friends. The end.
Thank you, Philicia. That's wonderful. Everyone give Miss Philicia a round of applause. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Of course, I hope
we're so glad that you
was good.
glad that you could be here. I'm glad. Thank you for reading that too. That's wonderful. It was a wonderful story. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself? Like how did you get into acting, and maybe what led you to Star Wars, and how you got your role as Tabala Zoe?
Yeah, sure. So I'm an LA native. I grew up in LA. So I've always been around the entertainment industry, but when I was in second or third grade, I knew I just loved theater and live performance at a very young age. My mom likes to joke and say that, Philicia, you never really asked me for anything except that one moment when I wanted to do a theater after school program. I said, "Mom, I brought my permission slip to her, and I was like, Mom, this is literally the only thing I want to do right now. So can you just please sign this for me?" And she did, and literally the rest is history. My first like real play, and we'll probably talk about Shakespeare later, but my first real play was a Shakespeare play in sixth grade, 12th night. And after that, I was like, this is who I want to be, and this is what I want to do. And I had idols like Jim Carrey when I was young, and then early 90s, he had like a slew of films that I was just obsessed with. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to be a comedian. I want to be an actor. So it's always been in my blood, honestly. And then how I got to, what was the second part of the question? How I got to my role in as Tabala Zoe?
Yeah, what led you to Star Wars?
Yeah, so there was a line in the film that was, that was supposed to be off screen, but then I think they wanted it to be a person to say it eventually. And I have connections in this industry, so the opportunity sort of came across my desk, and I when asked to do this role, I just hopped at the chance because I love I love Star Wars, I love science fiction. I hopped at that opportunity, like who wouldn't? So
Yeah, I think we all would.
I know, right? So I did I did my scene in Force Awakens, and it made it into the final film, and the rest is history.
So did you know that role was going to stay in the film, or were you thinking it was going to
No.
get cut?
Honestly, in any film, you don't really know or see the final product until you actually see it. And so when you do see it eventually, an hour and 55 minutes into the film, you're like, oh my gosh, I made it into the film. So you don't really know 100% unless you're like the lead character in a film that your role is going to be in it. So it was a lovely surprise.
Let alone having a canon character name in there. You're not just Resistance Fighter #2. You are Tabala Zoe.
That is, yeah, it's very exciting.
So while you were on the set, did you get to interact much with like John or Daisy, any of the like major cast players, or even the original cast like Harrison and Carrie?
Yeah, I mean, I was around. I saw Daisy and John Boyega, of course, and they're all very generous actors. You would interface with them briefly, but like you would also get the opportunity to see them work. And that's my main, passion as an actor, to see other actors work and be in their sort of their prime. I did see Carrie Fisher as well, rest in peace, and Harrison Ford. So just seeing those two legends alone act and be in their presence alone was also a pleasure. So yeah, I was around them on set and got to see them in their prime.
That's awesome. Real quick, if any of you have any questions, please type them in the chat. We'll get them, and we're going to ask your questions towards at the end of the interview. So go ahead and type them in, and we will get them, and we will ask them. But moving on, in addition to acting, you are also a synchronized swimming enthusiast. How did you get into that?
So in addition to my acting love, when I was in elementary school, I was also an avid swimmer. So my sister's 18 months older than I am, but we did every activity together. So when we were swimming together, we were doing speed swimming. There was a synchronized swimming team that was swimming out of the pool we were in. So, and some of our friends were on the team, and we would see them practice while we were practicing. We're like, this looks interesting, because like you see synchronized swimming today, and which is now called artistic swimming, fun fact. You see it today and you're like, that is the cool, like it defies gravity, you're underwater, your legs are up, like you're doing so many different interesting moves, like it immediately catches your attention. So it caught our attention. And at the time, that was the first African American synchronized swimming team in the US.
Oh, wow.
Another fun fact. And
You're just setting all sorts of firsts, aren't you?
I know it wasn't intended to be that way, but it just was. And so I think the very next week we signed up for the team, and we started. I think I was about around 8 or 9 years old. Might have been older, maybe 10 years old. And I would do solo routines and duet routines and team routines. And we made it to the nationals one year. It was a huge history making event. So that's when I first started. I mean, it was by way of speed swimming. I'm just a person of the water. I'm an Aquarius as well. So it's like natural for me. And I still actually continue to swim to this day. I'm on a master synchronized swimming team in La Mirada, California. And also I'm with a performance team called the Aqua Lilies. So I am still very much doing that today at this age now.
That's wonderful. Yeah. And you were just recently actually did a synchronized swimming role or artistic swimming role in Beyonce's the new feature. It's the Black is King. That's on Disney Plus right now.
Yes.
So that's really cool. So you got to use your swimming abilities in the on film too.
Yes.
Combining your two loves.
Yes. What's funny about that is we didn't know it was a film. We thought, first of all, we didn't know who the artist was until the first day of rehearsal. Oh. And then while we were on set, we see that it's Beyonce, and we're like, this might be the coolest experience, other than Star Wars, might be the coolest experience I've experienced. So, we thought it was a music video, and then we didn't hear about it for a while. And then maybe a month before it dropped on Disney Plus, it was like, this is a whole visual album. You're like, we see in the trailer, we see our scenes from the synchronized swimming portions, and we're just like, this is the coolest thing ever. So yeah, just being in that film and being in a film that's so, impactful and with a really positive message, it was just a dream come true, to be honest. And it's on Disney Plus with all the Star Warses. So I'm like, there's me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about the voice work that you've started to get into?
Yeah, so thanks to quarantine and trying to find ways to keep myself busy, and I have a passion also for voiceover. I had done a web series where I played a computer voice, and I did a couple of short films where my voice was needed. And so I was like, you know what? Why don't I actually dedicate some time here while we're all at home and build my own vocal booth? So I built a vocal booth for myself to do voiceover sort of exercises while I'm at home. So I got all the equipment. I put together a couple of audiobook samples. So audiobooks are when you listen to books on either your car radio or your phone. And so I put a couple of samples together, and I just now finished my commercial demo reel. So, not only am I a live actor, I also love using my voice and reading. I actually do a monthly challenge on my Instagram where friends submit books for me to read for them, passages. And this month is actually Alice in Wonderland. So there's a ton of characters, and I'm so excited to read that one and put it together for my audience, my friends.
Well, there you go, folks. Go on, follow Philicia on Instagram, and you can suggest challenges for her book reading.
Mm-hmm.
So on that subject, what are some of your favorite books? What genres do you like to read?
Well, I love fantasy and science fiction. And just to point out your poster back there, I love Lord of the Rings. I love, there's another fantasy series called Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi that I love. I love that
available
series.
in the library.
I'm sorry?
I'm just saying it's available in our library for checkout
Oh,
right now.
so good. And actually, another fun fact. I'm full of fun facts today. One of my audiobook samples is a passage from Children of Blood and Bone, the first one, and it's in a British
Oh, cool.
accent. So like it is. That's I always turn to that one when people ask for book suggestions because it's just really good.
Um, you have worked with the likes of J.J. Abrams, Quentin Tarantino, and Beyonce, just to name a few. Is there anybody you hope to work with in the future?
A couple come to mind. Ryan Coogler, he directed Black Panther, and I actually have
Creed
seen him. I'm sorry, didn't hear you.
and Creed.
Oh yeah, of course. I've seen him. There was a summer program called Freedom Schools in South LA, and I've seen him read and interact with kids. Just being in his presence, and just I had so many questions for him. I couldn't ask him in the moment, but I was just like, I just really look forward to working with you one day. Ava DuVernay, of course, J.J. Abrams again. I would love to work with him again because he's an actor's director. What that means is like he will really just work with you no matter how big or small your part is. He will make sure that everything is his vision is going to be executed, so he cares about every aspect of the film, and I just really love that in a director. Those are just to name a few.
So, since now, did JJ specifically want, like, did you get the call back? Because you weren't in Last Jedi. So you had this gap between Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker. Uh, did JJ specifically request that you return for Rise of Skywalker, or was it just a happenstance? Did your agent say like, hey, they want you back for the last movie, or how did that come about?
Well, yeah, there's a couple of other, I wouldn't call my role a cameo, but there's a couple other cameos where they come back for this film. Like this is the final film of this trilogy, this specific trilogy. So, there was an opportunity for me to come back for this. And I just said, of course, for this last scene, obviously that's the best. I don't want to give it away. I
Yeah.
mean, everyone who hasn't seen it yet, but like that's the best moment in the film, um, for everyone because it just brings everything to a close so well. Yeah, it was like how Force Awakens happened. It was just another opportunity that came across my way at the right time that I was able to go in and be a part of the film again.
All right. Um, and now I've got little funny questions, but like, do you have a favorite Shakespeare role? And it does tie in because, as people can see, I've got my Shakespeare Star Wars shirt on, so it's related. It's related. Do you have a favorite Shakespeare role or play that you've been
Well,
in?
I have to mention the first Shakespeare play that I did, which was Twelfth Night, and I played Malvolio, which is like the fool of the play, and my favorite character. So Twelfth Night, I have to say, I love The Tempest. I was just in Julius Caesar last year, so that has now become another favorite of mine. I played Portia and Octavius in that play. So those are my tops. I want to say the Scottish play, but I can't say the real name, and I always hate when you can't say the real name because it's cursed or whatever. I can't remember, but I love the Scottish play so much. So I have favorites that are in the comedy genre and then favorites that are in the tragedy genre. I just love Shakespeare in general.
Oh yeah, it's always fun. I think my favorite is probably The Tempest. I got to play Caliban one time, and that's
Oh,
probably
really?
yeah. That was this was like
Cool.
high school, but he's got some great soliloquies, and he's one of my favorite roles. So,
Hmm.
he's always been one of my favorites.
Awesome.
And then, um, I'm gonna keep going, but if anyone's got any questions, again, please put them in the chat. We'll be happy to answer. I'll be happy to ask them. But Star Wars has had this massive impact on film, on storytelling. How does it feel that to be just a part of that like giant world building experience of that has touched so many people that you get to say, I was in Star Wars. I got to be part of that.
Well, it's just, I mean, what you said, that was my first reaction. Like, this is something that is a part of our history, the entertainment history. And just being a part of something that has a legacy is just mind blowing. I still can't even fathom to this day. And something that has touched so many people's lives all around the world, not just here, you know? So it's just being able to reach so many people with this one story that is so iconic. It's just, like I said, it is mind blowing. And I'm just very honored to be in this role, to Balazo, just honored. And it's just, as an actor, it's probably the ultimate honor, to be a part of something that's so a part of history.
Oh yeah. So, who's your favorite character?
Ooh.
Real simple. Or is it?
You caught me up. No,
is it a simple question?
I love Han Solo. I also love, let's see. I also love Princess Leia. I mean, the trio in the first three have just, not first three, the second, what New Hope through the first in the, like, the 1970s, 1980s series. What do you call that?
Confusing order.
I don't want to confuse people with the prequel. You know what I'm saying? So I just love the trio: Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Leia. So I love them all together.
Yeah, mine's a weird one. I like R2-D2 for some reason. He's my favorite. He's just cute.
Not weird. He's so cute.
And this was a question that got asked in the last interview with Miss Ireland, but that I liked. But what color would your lightsaber be? Because the lightsabers actually have their color actually has some special meaning depending on like it sort of tells a lot about your personality. So yeah, what color would your lightsaber be?
I've always liked the purple ones, but I think I would.
A lot of purple love today.
A lot of purple love.
Yeah, Justina Ireland was just on. She was saying that she because she loves Mace Windu, and he loves and Corey was saying, the purple. It's just such a cool. It's iconic, and it's like you never saw it before then.
That is probably why I like it, because it's so iconic, and it also reminds me of royalty. I don't know. So I would go with purple, and then maybe next green.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be a good one. Let's see. Do we have any questions? No questions yet, so we'll just keep going. Is there anything you would like to plug? That's anything coming up that you would like us to know about, to be on the lookout for?
Yeah, of course. I have a one-woman show that I have written and I'm producing currently. The one-woman show was supposed to be a live theater show, actually this past June, but due to the pandemic, it was canceled. And so I had to revamp my show to happen over the interwebs, like what's going on now. So right now I'm knee deep in production on that. There are going to be some pre-recorded elements, some synchronized swimming elements, and also some live theater elements that we're all putting together. I have a really great, talented team of, I have a director, producer, technical director, stage manager, sound designers, everything coming together. It's like not only a film production, but also a theater production. So this might be the new normal for a while in terms of live theater. So it's a one-woman show. I'm playing all the characters. It's not only my story, but very relevant to what's going on today. In terms of the political climate, the racial climate, and things like that. So it's a very relevant subject matter to what's going on today. So that'll be going up in December. So I'm looking forward to that.
What's it called, so we can be on lookout for it?
It's called Breathe.
Breathe. Okay. Mm-hmm. In December, and we'll be able to find it on Facebook or YouTube and
yes, it'll be.
Follow Philicia on Instagram and Facebook, and that way, and you'll be notified.
Yeah, I'm working with the marketing team, so there will be a ton of marketing and press around this, hopefully. So not only will I be announcing everything on my social media, but there'll be some press around it as well, hopefully.
Yeah, it's interesting the time that we're living in. That fact that you're kind of seeing this shift in how things are getting made and how things are being released. It's not often that you get to see the burgeoning of a new art form, I guess we could say. This is, I guess, inter art or interweb art, however we want to call it. Just
a hybrid, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any more. Well, let's get back on the Star Wars, I guess. We gotta still Star Wars. We don't have any questions just yet, but is there any possibility that you might would like to return to Star Wars? Maybe you can show up in The Mandalorian, or maybe you'd like to read, or do you think you want to read, or like if you were to ask to read a audiobook for it?
Oh, any opportunity, I would love that, because I love the subject matter so much. I'm very much looking forward to The Mandalorian season 2 happening at the end of the month. Yeah, I would love, I wouldn't even hesitate, you know? And that's a really good idea. I might do, just because I love doing voiceover, just practicing and for my own self and just sharing with my friends. I might even do a Star Wars reading from one of the books. So that's a good idea.
Okay. Oh, we got a question. All right, from Aaron. Though the Skywalker saga is wrapped up, if Tabala Zoe got her own show, what would you imagine for her? And what is Tabala Zoe's backstory?
Oh, that is very interesting. Thank you for that question. I have a friend who's just like, I call her my Star Wars guru. And we had this conversation all the time. And I'm like, hey, her name is Christina. I'm like, can you just like, let's spitball on like, what would my backstory be? What if I had a spinoff? That'd be just like a wild idea. Obviously I'm sort of on the rebel side. So I am in the command room, and we were also thinking like Last Jedi time, where did I go? Like, was there a mission I went on? And then I came back for Rise of Skywalker. And then maybe after Rise of Skywalker, I'm on another mission on another base fighting for good. So definitely just like constantly working. I feel like Tabala Zoe will be just working, making sure that, she's fighting for the resistance and making sure that we're, not only getting ahead, but we're fighting for the good side. So I feel like I'm just going to be on a mission. That'd be really cool. In some other galaxy. Maybe we get a little bit of our
even call it fan fiction if you are the character?
Sorry, what was the first part of that question?
Can you even really call it fan fiction if you are the character?
I think so. If I'm creating something out of, that hasn't been in a film, I think I think this would be fan fiction. So I might ask my friend to write this whole like really cool backstory, mission, saving the world, and then coming back and being like, these are my people, like the Rey and Finn just coming back to them and being like, guess where I went, guys? Here, I'm back. So that's a really good question. I feel like I need to go to my friend and say, we need to actually write like a cool like short story about, this mission I went on between films and then after.
Another question. What was your experience like being on set like? How many takes did your line take? Or how many hours did you spend on set? And this is from Leah. Or I should say Leia, maybe.
So the take took about I'm trying to remember because I think it was back in 2015. It took about 8 or 9 different takes, because like I said before, JJ is the actor's director. So he has a vision. He works with you no matter how big your role is, no matter how small your role is. So he was like, let's try it this way. Think about this. Think about, because like at that point, you're not given the full script unless you're one of the, Daisy or Finn, John Boyega, excuse me. You're not given the script. So you're like, you have no real context of what's going on. I had the line that sort of announces like, we're literally about to die. But I had no idea. I was like, I don't know what what weapon they have. I don't know like where I am, but he gave such a good like he gave a good life connection. Like imagine you yourself, Philicia, is experiencing like you were literally about to die in 2 minutes. Imagine that. So
he really was on.
exactly. So he gave me that and we worked on it a couple of times and then I was able to. And first of all, even though what you're in the film, you don't see what was actually in the final film. So I wasn't behind a light board. That there were VFX that were added and everything, so it seemed like I was actually in, the base. But there I didn't have a light board, so I was just like, it's very like theatrical. So you have to use your imagination and make sure you're just like you're interacting with someone who's not actually there, who's cut in later. So even though it took about 8 different takes, I tried to do a take 8 different times with the notes that JJ gave me. And then it maybe took about an hour or so to get that final take that was used in the film. So I mean, it goes to show you that it takes a long time to make a movie because you really need to take the time to make sure you're getting the right shot. So yeah, it was, and right after that, I maybe cried because I was like, I still can't believe this happened.
Why did you cry?
It was happiness because I was like, this is so huge. And
okay,
at the time, I didn't know it was going to be in the film. I didn't know it was going to be in the film, but like, I didn't care because I was like, this is the best experience of my life.
Was that like your reaction when you saw the film? Like so you didn't see the film until it came out, and so was that your reaction? He was like, ah.
Yeah. What's funny is that I was just like super nervous throughout the whole film. I was like, I'm not even paying it. That's why I had to go see it again with my family. I was like, now I can lean back and relax and pay attention
and enjoy.
But like the first time, I was like, what? Oh, okay. Now I can relax for the last 30 minutes of the film. But it was great.
We got a question from.
Mm-hmm.
I was just saying we have another question from Timothy Turner III. How long did it take for you to be comfortable with your role?
So obviously I had maybe a couple of hours before I had to go on set. So I spent time with the line that I had to embody. And it's not just like a throwaway line. It's a line that's very pivotal and very like serious. So I think I had like a couple of hours to try and prepare myself. And thankfully, when I got on set, I had JJ there to direct me and give me, like I said in the previous question, give me scenarios to imagine and more fully embody that moment. So, and it's a very pivotal moment because literally the next 2 minutes is.
And you're right. It's quite a significant role. It's not just in the context of the story, but like we said at the beginning, you're the first African-American human female to have a spoken role. So you didn't have like prosthetics on. You weren't an alien. It's like, because we've had African-American characters or led characters before, but and we were talking about it earlier, how I went back and I'm like, there's got to be someone. It can't have just been just this recent. But no, it's quite astounding that this is the first African-American human female character to have any lines in these movies. Everyone else prior has either been an alien.
Yeah. I actually didn't know that fact until someone brought it to my attention maybe almost a year later. So I don't think, which I was like, that can't be true. And then, I had other friends who were like looking through it. I had other people trying to look and see if that was true. And then it ended up being true. And it's just like just to add on to, the moment after I shot the scene, just like breaking down and crying, like this is such a momentous moment for me. And then also adding on that fact that I was the first African-American female human with a line. I mean, it's just, I still can't believe it to this day. And it's like, what, 5 years later?
Yeah, it's quite astonishing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we are getting close to wrapping up. Is there anything else you would like to advertise, or how can we reach you, or how can we follow you? Anything? Where can we find you at?
Of course, I'm on so all the social media, so Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. My name is a unique spelling, so Philicia Philicia Saunders Saunders, and you can find it anywhere over on social media. I have a website, FeliciaSaunders.com. IMDb. I have a couple of short films coming up, and then of course my one-woman show that I'm hoping will sort of reach a lot of people now that we're on this kind of platform. So, yeah.
All right, thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll be back in a short while with our follow-up interview with Justin. No, we will be back. Okay, shortly. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Philicia, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.